So let's talk about Anthony Joshua, Olympic super heavyweight gold medalist. He makes his professional debut next Saturday night. He's fighting the unbeaten Italian Emanuele Leo at London's O2 Arena. Joshua admits he's missing the team atmosphere from the GB boxing squad.
Most definitely. I'm always in touch with the lads, but as you said, now I'm in the gym, it's more one-on-one work, and there isn't that team bonding, because I think as a professional it's now like a job. I'm up running on my own, I'm up doing my strength and conditioning on my own, and the only time I see other boxers really is when I go in the gym. But half of them are working on their craft anyway, so it's solo, but that's the way it's got to be, and that's the way I'm adapting.
So you're learning by watching, but have you studied anyone in particular? Have you talked to anyone about what's lying ahead?
Yeah, I speak to my promoters, other boxers. I got back into the rhythm of watching boxers again. Little things like that, what I used to do when I first started boxing. I wouldn't study, but I'd just love to watch boxing, pick up new tricks, and I've just picked that up again. So I've been recently watching like Holyfield. I was watching a bit of Ken Norton and Larry Holmes. I watched Lennox Lewis. They're champions. They know what they're doing in the ring. They can go 12 rounds with the elite. So I'm just trying to pick up some tactics, and I applied that in sparring yesterday, some of Holyfield's tricks, and it works a treat, you know. So it's all good. It's all coming together.
But as you're talking about these names, you're smiling as well, and perhaps thinking one day you'll be in that category.
Yeah, most definitely. I think the main thing is get hit as least as I can, and then I'll plain sail right to the top, hopefully, because I think I've got the ability and the dedication to get there. It's just how much pain threshold I can take when I get in the ring. The head guard's gone, the vests are gone, smaller gloves. It's a new challenge to me, so I'm going to experience new things, and I'm going to go through new barriers again. So it'll be interesting to see how I perform October the 5th, and mainly like what I learn from it and move on and hopefully get myself into the championship ratings.
Now, if we look at some of Britain's best fighters in the last decade and a half, Joe Calzaghe took 4 years to become world champion. Carl Froch took 6 years. Ricky Hatton took 8 years. So it can be a long road.
It can be. I look at it like an Olympic system as well. Whether that's going to be the same route I take from October the 5th, 2013, where I'm going to be 4 years from now. And that could potentially be, as you said, hopefully things go well, competing for a world title, or it could be before then. But it all depends on my success in the ring and how fast or slow I'm progressing. But right now, I just want to take it one step at a time. But everyone knows deep down we've all got goals that we set and what we want to achieve. And mine is just having to be being a world champion. So looking long term, we'll see what happens in the next 4 years and where I position myself in the boxing world. See what happens. I'm looking forward to this journey. I get nervous now and again, but who doesn't? You know, it's going to be interesting.
Well, that was Anthony Joshua. Mike, it is interesting, isn't it? For every Amir Khan, there's an Audley Harris, and how hard is it to predict who's going to make the transfer?
I think that's the fascinating game. The super heavyweight division in particular has a good line of pedigree. It was introduced into the Olympic Games at the Los Angeles Games of 1984. It was won there by an American called Tyrell Biggs, and since then, every Olympic gold medalist who's gone on to turn professional, 2 of them haven't, but everyone who's turned professional has at least challenged for the world title or is about to. The last of them, Alex Povetkin, who won gold in 2004, is challenging Vladimir Klitschko the weekend after this one coming up. In 2008, it was won by an Italian, Roberto Camarelli, and he hasn't turned pro. So once Povetkin, in 9 days' time, fights for a world title, that will mean that every Olympic gold medalist has at least fought for the world title. So that augurs well for Anthony Joshua, but it doesn't necessarily guarantee success, of course.
Fine. So let's wrap up talking about Anthony Joshua. A word from you, Steve. It was very interesting to hear him say that when you get the head guard off, you don't know how much pain you can take.
You don't know how much pain you can take, and he's absolutely right. He doesn't know what it's going to be like in the 4th and the 5th round if a guy's hitting him back. And matching big heavyweights, it is an art form. We mentioned earlier when we touched on it with Dean Powell. And the guys that have been responsible for matching these guys have been geniuses. The men that put together Vladimir's career, the men that have put together the careers of other heavyweights that have gone on, even Lennox Lewis, they are brilliantly matched. And it's going to be really tough, because what happened, Ellie, is that all those guys were matched in obscurity. They could fight even off TV. They could fight at small halls. They could have stinker fights against fat guys that look terrible. You can't now with this modern age and with the exclusive TV deals. Every punch, every second that Anthony Joshua makes in that ring is open to praise and criticism. And I'm going to tell you now, in a year's time, after 7 fights, we're going to have Anthony Joshua on the phone, and he's going to say, well, you know, I'm doing what I can do. If the people don't like it, if the people are complaining, because they will complain. If he wins in a round, they'll complain. If he wins on points, they'll complain.
But there is nothing like a heavyweight. You know, We lauded Amir Khan, who turned over after winning silver, James DeGale winning the gold medal, but there's nothing like an Olympic gold medalist at super heavyweight turning pro. Fascinating prospect ahead.